Hi, Charles Moman here. I have another product review I'd like to do. Today it's a Maxoak 99 watt power bank. I think you'll find it interesting and maybe something you could use. Thanks for watching. Well, just to let you know up front, I did contact Maxoak and said I was interested in doing a couple of reviews of their products, and so they sent me this 99 watt power bank. I don't do a typical unboxing. I'll just show you it has the typical user manual. It's got a nice carrying case and a USB-C charger. So did want to let you know up front. What I do is I look for just a very few products that I think might benefit fellow runaway camper owners, people with small teardrops, really anybody in an RV, and travelers as well. So that's what my eye is looking for when I'm seeing things that I think I might want to do a review of that might be helpful for people. So I'm going to break this into 8 very short pieces. I'm going to first talk about the build and the specs about it. What I think is probably the most important is the TSA compatibility, that you can take it on a plane. Who might need to use this, the basic features of it, charging devices, how to recharge the battery, other uses, and then just some final words. So that's where we'll be headed in this short video. So I've used for years the typical small little power banks and a little larger ones to recharge phones while you're on the move. But this Maxoak 99 watt is a totally different animal because it's got more power, and that means that we can use it for bigger devices. So what about the build of it? Well, it's a solid build. It's a aluminum alloy finish. It's 7.1 inches long, 3.9 inches wide, and 2.3 inches thick. So it's a bigger battery. It's more power, so that means it's going to be heavier and bigger. So it's 2.7 pounds. And so, you know, when you compare it to a small little pencil charger like that, yeah, it's quite different. And you're not going to stick this in your pocket, but definitely if you put it in a laptop bag, which is what I'll be doing. I have a flight next week to California, so I'm happy to take this. So that's one thing about something this big. It has its uses, but it has to be the right size to get on that plane. So I like the feel of it. It is rock solid. But let's talk about that, what I think is the best feature of it, that this is TSA approved to take on your carry-on. Of course, they're very picky about lithium batteries, and you can't have any lithium batteries in your checked luggage. And I'm going to pop up on the screen the pertinent information, but just to tell you, as long as you keep it 100 watts or less, you can carry multiple batteries of any sort like this. And so they're really smart doing this 99 watt, so it fits in the requirement. You actually can carry a 160 watt lithium battery. If with approval, you can have up to 2 of those, but these, because they're 99 watt, you're good. So this Maxoak, it's the AC-10, 99 watt, is perfect for travelers because those smaller units I showed you before couldn't even begin to help you run a laptop or a big tablet. And so when I'm traveling with this, I put this in my typical laptop bag, and then I've got several pockets that it will fit right in the pocket, and I'm good to go. I definitely feel the weight, but that weight is worth it because on layovers, if you have a long flight, but especially sometimes we have long layovers, and you know how it is at airports. They've got the plugs, and half the time 3/4 of them don't work. There may be outlets in the wall, but there's usually people crowded around them plugging in their devices. And so if you have something like this with 99 watts, you know that you are going to be fine. You don't have to worry about running around the airport trying to find a place to plug in. So I think that's what's so great about this 99 watt unit for travelers. Well, let's just talk about the basic features, and it is pretty simple. And on one end, it's got a light, and so that seems to be the big thing with lithium banks lately. And so it shows half light, full light, and then we'll do a SOS pattern. I've not seen that before on units. It's got an LED segment with 5 green lights to show you the amount of the charge. And of course that's always handy. It's got the power button, of course. And then it's got 2 standard USB ports and a USB-C that's 45 watt that can do fast charging. Then on the opposite end, it's got one typical wall outlet, AC outlet, that you can plug in your charger for your laptop or you could plug in a cube that you use to charge your iPad Pro or tablets. And if you've got USB charging with your laptop, I think most of the Apple laptops do that. You could charge right into the USB and charge that way as well. So what about the charging capabilities? Of course, this is a bigger power bank, and so on the charts that Maxoak gives in its manual, it says, for example, phones with larger batteries like the iPhone SX, some of the Galaxies, even with their bigger batteries, they can be fully charged 5 times. So I know that my iPhone 6 would probably do even more. And then what about laptops? I'd say they're saying a typical laptop, probably like my MacBook Air or MacBook Pro or something equivalent, you could do 2.5 full charges of it. And so I think that will get through most people through on most trips. Even like an overseas flight, it probably could take care of you because you're probably going to sleep some anyway. But you could get a lot of work done with a 99-watt bank like this. So I've talked about using the Maxoak AC-10 to charge your devices. What about recharging it? Well, before I talk about that, just want to mention that most manufacturers of lithium batteries suggest that you try not to go down so there's only less than 20% of the capacity, maybe down to 10%, but they suggest that you try not to run them all the way down because they only have a certain number of recharge cycles, and so by not running them down too far, you can extend the life of these batteries, which is pretty long anyway. I typically don't run mine much past 50% when I use them. You have 3 ways. You can plug it into a normal wall outlet with the adapter that comes with it, a USB-C charger, and then also you could charge it in your car. As you know, they make small plugs that plug into your cigarette lighter that can have a USB port and a USB-C, or you could get an inverter and plug it in to your cigarette lighter. Then you can use the AC charge cord that you can plug it up just like you did at home. If you run it down, it would take typically about 4 hours if you ran it all the way down. So you know the kinds of things that you could charge up with this lithium battery, of course. Phones, typical tablet. Here's a small Kindle. I've got a USB charger for some camera batteries for this Nikon D750, and it's actually USB, so that could charge. My wife and I use a hotspot when we're traveling, so I have a Skyroam so I could keep it charged. And I mean, the list could go on. Here's some Bose headphones that a lot of people use on airplanes, and so I could keep that charged up as well. So the list is kind of endless, but anything that can plug into that USB or a regular outlet, you're good, as long as it's 100 watts or less, and you'll be able to use this Maxoak AC-10. Well, that just about does it, my review of the Maxoak AC-10. You can look for more information on the Maxoak website. I'll put that at the end of this video. Just in summary, it's sleek, it's well made, it's a little heavy, but that's because it has a lot more power. And my favorite thing about it, for sure, is that it's TSA compliant because, as I mentioned earlier, 100 watts or less, you are safe to take this on your carry-on. So I highly recommend it. It may serve your purposes, and thanks for watching.